Hello and welcome everyone to the next lesson, which is the exterior angle of triangles, part 2. So our lesson goal here is going to be to determine the value of the pronumeral or the unknown in triangles involving exterior angles. So a little bit similar to the last lesson, there's going to be triangles, there's going to be an exterior angle created, but it may or may not be the exterior angle that we're trying to find. It may be one of the other angles or maybe a combination of them that are unknown. We will need to be using our equations for these questions. Okay, so last lesson we learnt that cool shortcut. If you want to find the exterior angle, here it is theta over here, all you need to do is add the opposite two internal angles. What I'm going to get you to do in your maths books, which hopefully you've all got with you, is get today's heading copied in at the top. Once you have that heading copied in, you may need to pause the video or whatever, then move on and please copy in our notes here, which is the box. And here we have ourselves an example in red, which I'm actually going to solve. These are just one of the questions from yesterday. You want to find the exterior angle. All we do is add the two opposite internal angles. Okay, so please copy in the notes. Again, this is just a summary of what happened in that last lesson and is going to be really crucial for today's examples. Okay, so hopefully you've all got your notes in. Go back to the video if you need to and make sure you did get them in. Onto our first example, we're going to find the value of k. We're actually going to do that for all the examples. Every example is going to have this unknown angle k or maybe 2k or k plus 10, whatever it happens to be. Ultimately, our job is to find the value of k. All right, now we learned last lesson and we just wrote it down in our books that these two interior angles will add up and equal the exterior angle. So we write that out, k plus 65 will add up and equal the size of the exterior angle, 95 degrees. Hopefully you recognize we actually just happen to have an equation here. Not only that, but it doesn't even simplify. We can go straight to the solving. We're trying to find the value of k. We need to get rid of this plus 65. So yep, you guessed it. We're going to minus 65. 95, take away 65. K ended up being 30 degrees. That there is our first example. So copy that in. Hopefully it made sense. And once you have copied that in, move on to the next example. So for this one here, again, we've got another isosceles triangle, and we know isosceles triangles, base angles are the same, so that'll be a k as well. So this one here, again, just like we did the last lesson, these two opposite internal angles, k plus k, will end up equaling the size of the exterior angle, 132 degrees. And again, we have another equation. This one does need to be simplified first though. One lot of k plus another lot of k, you end up with two lots of k, which is equal to 132. Now that we've simplified the equation, now we can go ahead with the solving. To find the value of k, we're going to need to divide by 2. 132 divided by 2, that will end up being 66 degrees. And there it is, second one solved. K was 66 degrees. Again, make sure you're getting this example in and all other subsequent examples. I think there's 4 in total. Okay, on to our third example. Now this one here is a little bit more tricky, and by tricky, I mean it's going to be more fun. We want to find the value of k. Again, there's the exterior angle 80. That's the angle right next to it. The two opposite internal angles, k plus 10 plus the k, right? Those two angles will add up and equal the size of our exterior angle. So just using that formula, the one that we wrote down in the red box earlier on, we've got our equation. We're going to go ahead and simplify the equation. We have two lots of k. There's a plus 10 there and it's equal to 80. We've simplified the equation. Now we can go on ahead with the solving. How do we get rid of the plus 10? We're going to minus 10. How do we get rid of this times by 2? We are going to divide by 2. And yet again, we've found the value of k, letting us know that this angle over here was 35 degrees, and this angle over here was slightly larger. It ended up being 45 degrees, right? Because it was a k plus the 10. And on to our last example. All right, so we've got this triangle. One of the sides has been extended, creating exterior angle down the bottom here. Again, just like all the others, this angle here, which is k minus 60, plus this angle here, which is k. So these two internal opposite angles, they will add together, right? That's why I did a plus there. They will add up and equal the size of the exterior angle, 120. We have our equation. Let's go ahead and simplify it. K plus k, we have two lots of k. We've got this minus 60 here, and it's equal to 120. And again, we're just going to solve this equation like we always do. How do we get rid of a minus 60? We're going to add 60. How do we get rid of this times by 2? We're going to divide by 2. K is equal to 90 degrees, revealing the size of this angle here, which makes sense, right? It did look like a right angle, so it's nice that it sort of worked out. So that was 90 degrees, and this smaller angle right up the top was K minus 60. In other words, 90 minus 60. That was a 30-degree angle up here. Not that we even needed to write them out, right? The question just asks us to find the value of k. So once you have that, the question is technically done. You will have full marks in an exam. Right, that is actually it for our examples. So make sure you have in your book your heading, the notes, and our 4 examples, diagram, and working out. Once you have them in, continue on with the video. I've got a couple questions for you guys to do yourselves. And again, we'll look at answers afterwards. Okay, so there's 4 questions for you guys to do on your own, done exactly the way as the examples. So in each case, set up your equation, simplify if it needs to be, and then solve to find the value of x. Best of luck. Again, you won't need to copy down the diagrams here. I'm okay if you go straight to your working out for each, because you do already have some nice diagrams with working out next to it, which you can look back over when you're doing your revision. Pause the video here, solve the 4 questions. Once you've got your answers, continue on with the video. Okay, so hopefully everyone had a go. If you couldn't work out some of them, at least as long as you tried, and hopefully you managed to get a couple of them out. These are the answers you should have got. The first was 65, second 45, 54 degrees, and the last one was 46.5 degrees. If you got the decimal and freak out, don't worry, you know, it was meant to be a decimal. So they're the answers you got. So hopefully you had some success of those questions. For those that are finding these questions pretty easy, I do have a challenge question for you. Again, your goal is to try and find the value of x. And I'll say none of the angles are known, but it is still possible for us to find the value of x and then subsequently the size of each of those angles. If you do manage to do that, or if you've got any questions about the challenge question, you know, you can leave a comment in the YouTube video or back on Canvas. It's up to you. All right, best of luck, and hopefully you enjoyed our final lesson on exterior angles of triangles. All right, bye.